Hi everyone, today we're looking at metallic watercolours with the Rembrandt Special Effects £12 set. I've been dying to try these out and I'm excited to share my thoughts with you. Are you a fan of adding a touch of shimmer and sparkle to your artwork? Or maybe you're just curious about these unique paints? Stick around until the end of this video to find out if the Rembrandt metallic watercolours are a must-have for your art supplies. Since I tried the Yuli set of handmade paints earlier this year on my Aphrodite painting, I've been trying to find a metallic watercolour set that was more affordable but also that was light fast for artwork for sale. I received some really positive comments on the effects that the metallics created when my work was on display in a recent exhibition, so I really wanted to find metallic watercolours that would be reflective and last for years to come. I was lucky to find this set on special offer on Amazon, and if you're interested in buying this set after a review, there is a link in the description below so you can check the price in your region. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the quality of the packaging and clarity of labelling. You can see the quality of the box and the fact that it's clearly marked with a list of the colours and the numbers, which is helpful if you wanted a particular colour for your work. On the back of the label it reads chameleon colours, change colour, spark colours, twinkle with an irregular sheen, and interference colours have a pearlescent glow. The colours work the best on dark grounds. This is perfect for the painting that I'm going to be working on, and I really can't wait to experiment with them. I've heard that the colours included in this speciality set are remarkable for the way they react in different light settings. I've been told that the chameleon colours especially change colour depending on the angle they are viewed and supposedly give an extra dimension to the work, so we'll see when it's painted onto the work. The build quality of the tin was really good, and it comes supplied with this travel brush which is fair quality. It's built with plastic, and for those of you that are conscious of animal hair, it is a red sable brush, which is disappointing when there are so many other options out there. As you can see, each of the half pans are individually wrapped, so I now have the job of unwrapping them. I will keep the packages so that I can put them on my swatch chart, and as you can see, I have also labelled them because the labelling was really small and difficult to read. Each of the pan labels also had the light fastness, which was 3 or 3 crosses, 3 stars, and that indicates that it has 100 years of light fastness within museum conditions. So I'm now moving on to the swatches. This is interference white, and I am going to swatch with quite an amount of the colour so that we can see the intensity of the colour on the black. I will also swatch on the white paper so that we can see the effect on the white, although you can't really see the colour aspect, you can see more the shimmer quality on the white paper. A couple of things to mention is, number one, I didn't show you how I activated the paints, and that was by putting a pipette of 1 drop of water on each of the paints, and that's a really good way to activate metallic paints. So I just got a pipette and put 1 drop onto each of the pans. I would recommend that if you do that, then I would leave it for between 3 to 5 minutes so that it's fully activated. I am aware that some people prefer to leave a light spray, but for me to get a really good amount of the paint, I prefer just to put 1 drop of water directly onto the pans. And the second thing to mention is that the first 4 of these paints I will be testing are with mica mix, and then the rest of the remaining paints are, or they have traces of glass in them, and that's what causes or gives them the reflective qualities. So the next one that I've tested here is metallic, or in a metallic mix of interference blue, and I have then moved on to interference violet. These are really visible on the black paper, and they obviously have a metallic quality to them, although not after painting every colour, but throughout this demonstration I have tried to lift up the paint to give you an idea of how reflective they are, because although it's visible on the black paper, it's not necessarily always visible on the white. So I'll now move on to the interference green, and again this had a very similar appearance and similar properties to the first three, for the simple reason that it contained the mica. These were the paints that I was most interested to try out, and this was the chameleon colours, especially the cooler colours, because these were the ones that I was planning to use in my work. So when I say cool, I mean the ones that contain the blues and the greens, because I wanted to put these on the tail of the mermaid. And these are the ones, and the preceding or the subsequent ones are the ones that contain the elements of glass to reflect those highly reflective qualities. I would really be interested in what you think about these paints, especially if you've used these paints in your work. Do you use them in your watercolours for sale, or do you purely use them in your sketchbook work? Please let me know in the comments what you do with these paints. The first one that I'm testing here is the Chameleon Gold Red Violet. The real test, I would say, of whether this is reflective of all three colours is when it's dry. When I tested it out to see if all three were reflective in the colour scheme, I would say the violet and the red was more dominant. There are little accents of gold. And as I've said, if you have found these paints effective, I would really like to know what your opinions are in the comments below. The next colour in the Chameleon range is the Chameleon Violet Red Blue, and I hope you can see already how the chameleon colours and the glass based colours are popping off of the page, especially when they are applied to the black paper. Apologies for this being upside down, but it was the best way to get everything in frame, and I'm currently moving between filming spaces, so that's why everything is not as it would normally be. So if it's out of sync, i.e. not in the same running order, that's why. So we've gone to the last colour, which is the Spark Pink, and that's not one of the chameleon colours, so you've got that bright lustrous pink colour. At this point I had to add some more water, so if you're testing these out, if they're a little bit on the dry side, just add some more water and leave it for a few minutes. I then moved on to the Spark Violet, which when I applied it and it's dried, I found the Spark Violet and the Spark Pink weren't as bright as I'd liked. I found that the black came through too much. But overall they were strong colourways. I then moved on to the Spark Blue. Of all of the blue colours, this was one of the stronger ones. I found that it was more reflective than the interference blue, but of all of the blues I preferred the Chameleon Violet Red Blue because it had that variety of colours. Then on to the Spark Green. This one I preferred out of all of the greens because it had quite a cool feel to it and was moving towards the turquoise range of colours. Then moved back to the Chameleon Blue Green Gold. Out of all of the chameleon colours, this was probably the weakest one on the swatch chart. However, when I applied this later on a piece of work, it actually redeemed itself and it was stronger. So I think this really depends on what colour you add it onto. So I would suggest with all of these paints you experiment applying them onto different colours. This, out of all of the colours, is probably one of my favourite ones. It was a Chameleon Violet Blue Green. The reason was it was a really strong turquoise colour, and this was particularly why I bought this set, because I was looking for some strong turquoise shimmery colours. Please let me know in the comments which of these colours you like, and if you've used any in your work and which one was the strongest one in the work that you are producing. So now I'm going to try the paints out on a project that I'm currently working on. I'm trying to create an interpretation of the Little Mermaid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for some darker areas within the image and try swatching out the watercolors on those areas. I'm particularly keen to work on the tail because what I'm trying to achieve is a shimmery effect on the scales, and that's why I chose this set specifically. So I'm going to work into the mermaid's tail first. Hopefully you can see how the light is captured in these scales, even though they've been painted crudely when I have done this initial sketch. After I'd seen how they had reacted on the really dark tones, I thought I would try them out on some mid-tones. So I tried them out on the hair of the Little Mermaid, and here are the results. Overall, I'm really happy with these paints. I'm sure that there may be paints out there that have a higher reflective quality and maybe better price point wise, but I have to have a high light fast rating, and because of that, these are the perfect paints for me. This month, i.e. September 2024, I have a 15% discount on my original artwork and limited edition prints if you order from my website using the code in the description. I'm also offering free embellishment with a few touches of shimmer accents to the oversized Aphrodite and Artemis oversized prints. Please let me know within 48 hours of placing your order that you would like this YouTube exclusive offer. If you would like to learn more about handmade metallic paints, tap or click here. If you would like to see what I'm currently painting or where you can see my work, follow me on Instagram.